It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex45. We got some fun in store for you tonight, as we try to do every podcast, every show, honestly. That's what we try to do here on Be Forever Cool. So I'm excited. We got the crew coming on in a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about MotoAmerica. We're going to talk about some street racing. We're going to talk about some video game racing because, I play the video games and I'm excited to talk about it because I think a lot of people do play because I found some of the folks that they see me play online and they see me in other places and it's like, hey, you that guy to play online? It's like, yeah, same person. So it is a thing and it's pretty cool. And we'll find out from the guys how it stacks up to real life racing. I think car racing maybe a little bit easier on a sim or more popular, I guess, than motorcycle racing on a sim. So we'll talk about that, and then, like I said, we'll talk about street meetups and all that fun stuff in MotoAmerica. I want to shout out Woodcraft. Go to Woodcraft's website, mention Rexy45. I'm sorry, right? There's so many different codes. Mention Rexy, save some money on a T-shirt, and spend over $100, I should say, and get a free T-shirt. That's how it works. It's pretty cool. It helps support the channel. Also, if you're a racer, track rider, and you're looking for tires, and you're a fan of Pirelli, hopefully you are. Nothing wrong with some of the other brands, but if you're a fan of Pirelli, we can save you 10%. Mark 10 Motorsport, mention Be Forever Cool, save 10% on tires. He does ship anywhere, I think anywhere in the U.S. Outside of the U.S., maybe a different story. So definitely, check those two out. Check out our website, beforevercool.com. We got merch on the website. So get yourself a T-shirt, get yourself a hat. We got jackets. Listen to the show. Subscribe, and also all the fun stuff that you do. And last but not least, the folks that are commenting. We really appreciate what you guys are doing. The riders that are commenting, really appreciate y'all taking the time out and recognize the show and take the time out to respond to something we have talked about, a clip you've heard on the show. I really appreciate that. Regardless of whatever it is, it's pretty cool. That means the show is reaching some folks and keeping people engaged. So very excited for that. We're going to be live at COTA at the MotoAmerica round for the next round. It's going to be probably 8 o'clock or 8:15, give or take, Central Time. So put it on your calendar. The first 3 rounds have been pretty cool. We've had some cool people on. We've had Eli Block, racer in the Twins Cup. We've had Dustin from Track Days on, and the crew that you see on the show as well. So we've got some cool stuff in store for that. I think that's about it for all of my long-windedness. Let me see what the guys have been up to, and then we'll get this thing cracking and rocking, as they say. Harry, man, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, Rex. Just glad to be here to talk motorcycle racing and just really enjoyed this past weekend at VIR and just ready to talk about the results and, COTA.
You said I just took my glasses off, so you're gonna have to talk the stats. Whatever stat you want to bring up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm done. How's the week? How's the 1299?
Oh yeah, it's going great, man. I'm looking to do some winter upgrades and possibly give me something new. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Now, have you ridden the smaller Ducatis?
No, I haven't. But I'm curious though. I'm curious. I'm curious.
But you've ridden thousands outside of the 1299.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So, I have the 1198S. I think I might have test rode at 1299, but I didn't crack it like you can when you own it. How do you feel about like the 1299 when you get on it?
Oh, I love it, but I just me. It's a 2-year-old bike, and like I think I told you, it's been probably more just because my previous job has probably been more garage kept more than anything. And 10-year-old bike that probably has I just looked at it, 9,600 miles, and I bought it brand new.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah, dude. You gotta get on that, man. My Panigale has well, let's be fair. My 2010 1198 has about 12,000 miles on that. So
no, that's good though. That's good.
But I've had other bikes as a main bike. So
Yeah.
And my Panigale V4 to 25 has about 4,600 miles on it, and this is about to finish year 2. So no, I hear you. I'm not like it's crazy. Like, and I think I griped about this on the Riding or Rex vlog. I don't have the time to ride like I used to, and that's the crazy part. And I'm loving the show. I'm loving where it's going and stuff like that. But it's funny because I'm not having the same amount of seat time I was having. So I'm working on it, but it's kind of like I'm noticing like, man. It's taking me longer. I was usually good for like 10, 11,000 miles a year on a bike.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I was on it like that. And so it's interesting. We'll see. But with that said, let me keep it going and we'll chop it up more in the show. Let me get Tyson in the building. Tyson, what's good, man? How you doing today?
What's up, Rexy? I'm doing good. Beautiful Friday. Ready for the weekend. Ready to talk video games and this crazy MotoAmerica weekend we just had.
Yeah, bro. It was crazy to be there to see. And the next 2 rounds are gonna be crazy because there's 4 guys that can still 4 guys can win this championship and maybe more. You never know if they keep doing as track days. Dustin from Track Days like to say, they were Skittles into the first corner. So if they keep chucking themselves off the bike, it might be anybody's game. So as you hear Harry and I talk about mileage on bikes, like what's your yearly average roughly on in riding up north?
Probably like 3 or 4 grand a year.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my 3rd year with my 24, like my 3rd full summer, and I'm at like 12,000 miles on it.
Okay.
So yeah, probably in between 3 and 4. I mean, we just have such a small riding season, and as I said, I'm very much a fair weather rider these days. Like, I've got AC in my car, I've got heat, little inclement weather, and I'm like, I'm just gonna take the car. It's not even worth it.
Listen here,
it's not even fun anymore.
Well, all you heated gear apparel manufacturer, reach out to us. We need to get Tyson some heated gear.
I'll take it, man. I'll test some new gear.
Yeah, man.
I'll do a review and everything for you right on the channel.
There you go. So you can stretch it out a little bit longer because honestly, it does. Like I'm, dude. If it's 77 degrees, I'm chilly.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying. I keep my place at like 80 degrees all year round.
I can't be that picky up here. You know what I mean? 70 degrees is like that's prime riding weather.
No, but I would still have heated gear, like because I would be chilly on a bike at 70 something. I'll and riding for at least 45 minutes. Yeah, I'll be a little bit cold.
Yeah.
So that's what but I know. And that's why I have heated gear, and they got the wireless stuff now. They got the battery operated stuff, so you're not looking like you're attached to the bike forever, kind of thing anymore. And it really like it's nice to be toasty. Like it's nice to be comfortable in riding. Your fingertips are not cold, because it's really just the fingertips and the toes that go, and maybe the thighs, right, and the elbow.
Yep.
Kind of thing, that kind of go, for the most part, especially if you have a bike with windshield, we get a lot of body protection. But I think I forget, was it you or someone was talking about they burnt their glove on the engine?
Yep. Yep. I did that. That was me. Yeah. Yeah. I roasted through at least a couple pair of gloves when I was younger doing that. Just like my hands are so cold, so I just held right onto the cylinder.
Yeah. No, so which is pretty crazy. So like we talked about in the intro, let's jump into it. We're talking in gaming, motorcycle racing, MotoAmerica, and I figured the last one already. But it will come to me before the show is over. But let's talk MotoAmerica first, guys. You saw the weekend, we talked about it beforehand. Harry, you were on the money as far as Josh Hayes. I mean, you got to buy a lot lottery tickets, man. We'll go super sport and then we'll go super bike.
Yeah.
You saw it. We talked about it. What are your thoughts afterwards? And I'm sure you got some things to get off your chest.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just seeing Bender just shred through super sport like that, and I would think that Heron would be a lot closer than what he is. Just for him being in MotoAmerica, as long as he's been in MotoAmerica and being a Superbike champion, and killing the new king of Daytona.
Right.
I would think that he would be ahead of Bender, but just to see somebody from South Africa come here and just dominate like that, and it's just another thing that our talent need to catch up. But I don't know, old man Hayes, just to skip to what I really want to talk about is my prediction on Josh Hayes. I don't know. I just had a weird feeling, like a inkling, something was less tingling in me. Like, I think it's gonna be Josh Hayes weekend.
Yeah.
And I knew Bender and Heron was gonna do whatever they was gonna do, but Josh Hayes is just he's a legend. He's a legend, and he's still in the game. And just to see him ride the way he rode, and to just be patient and let the race come to him, and it was a masterclass of what he did this past weekend, and it is good for somebody like myself to see him be so progressive at his mid-40s like myself, to go out there.
51.
Oh, he's 51. In his more mature stage of life right now, to get out there and with the 30 years old, and show him that regardless of the age is just nothing but a number, and talent always overwhelms. Talent and hard work always overwhelms you sometimes. The older I get and start to see it, and it was just impressive to see him put on a good show this weekend. And I know it probably a lot of guys in their mid 40s and gals too, in their mid 40s and more mature stage of life, that probably inspired a lot of them to hey, look, I still got time. I need to get on the track. Not saying that they go get out there and do what Josh Hayes did,
Right.
but they go get out there. They can still, life is not over. They still can compete in some form or fashion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm one of those folks. I mean, I still have aspirations of at least running a twin cup. And yeah, so I was seeing him even before winning, just getting on the podium or fighting for top four. It's not a surprise to me that he won. But to be that age and to be that competitive, and we see other riders, other older statesmen and women that can play the game longer, and you see, so you saw Serena came back and stuff like that. So it does give us mere mortals to get out there and what I'm saying, like, what, yeah, I can run a marathon, let me go do it,
Right.
that kind of thing. Tyson, man, what are your thoughts on the super sport? And we'll bring it back to Harry, because we got to talk about Heron and Bender as well. What are your thoughts on what Hayes did? And we both heard Harry called it. So next time the lottery's at almost a billy, he's numbers.
I mean, what a weekend for the super sport. I mean, the super bike as well, but super sport, man, that first race, like, I feel like both races were great in their own separate ways. Like that first race, it was just, I mean, it was every lap was a punch and a, just going back and forth, corner to corner. Like, what a great performance. And then obviously with the rain, made it crazy about Sunday, that second race, but you still got to see that like skill going on. Like Binder started basically last and finished second, but I mean, master class performances. Harrio said, "You ever watch Chappelle Show?"
Yes.
Do you remember Paul Mooney on Chappelle Show?
Oh yeah.
that is, I don't know if I want to say it on a recorded, but that is Harrio. And masterclass performance from Binder and Josh Hayes. And if any of the kids out there listening are taking advice from these idiots, these influencers on Instagram about body position and shit, I want you to just watch VIR, Josh Hayes, old manning it around that track and getting first and second this weekend.
Right. Is it
it was
Notre Dame?
It was Negro Damas.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, thanks for bringing me clarity. Yes,
I had to look it up because I thought it was like Black Adamus. I was like, that's not what it was. It was definitely like a play on that, and I loved that bit from Paul Mooney on Chappelle's show. He was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
yeah, hell of a performance from Josh Hayes and Binder. Like they put on a masterclass performance. They looked composed the entire time. Didn't matter what position they were in. They were just rock solid. I mean, it was just great to watch those guys. I mean, Josh Herrin was giving it to him, but to your point, you guys were talking about earlier, like he just doesn't look all that composed. He's just trying so hard to beat Binder, and like Binder just looks like he's out there for, I'm just out here on the bike and I'm just doing my thing. And Josh looks like he is searching for anything to win and beat him. And I just, like we saw on, I think it was it race 1 where he was at the last corner, the second to last corner, he like went off. Yeah, and dropped down to 3rd or 4th, I think. I think it was 3rd. I think he finished 3rd or 4th.
I got a double. No, was it?
I got it. He was 3rd. He finished 3rd in the first race, 4th in the second race. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, how do you beat that? How do you beat that when a guy's just out there, he looks casual and he's still beating you and you're giving it everything you got? So I don't know what else Josh has to do. Like, I don't know.
I think we hear people say, it's too soon to talk about a championship, but I think in Herrin's case, if he may have thought about it sooner, in a sense of like securing points and stuff like that, because at the moment, and I only say that because he's down on points. The way he played out, he's down on points, so he has to work harder, right? And maybe if it was someone else other than Bender that was there. I mean, this guy is, his brother's in MotoGP. He's been around the MotoGP paddock forever, been in MotoGP himself, Moto2, and obviously Moto3, where he jumped from Moto3 straight to MotoGP. Not a lot of riders have done that. Jack Miller comes to mind, you know what I mean, is one of the other riders have done something like that. So I think, and it's more recent. That's the other part of it. So I think for, Herrin, I didn't expect Herrin to crack. None of it. We said from the beginning of the season it was his championship to lose, stuff like that. And if Lewis was on the show, he'll talk about why the riders in Europe can be just that much more locked in, can just be that much more quicker from the beginning of the show. I mean, beginning of the race and stuff or practice and stuff like that. And I think Bender, if we're playing pickup basketball and there was some young college kid coming in and kind of just beating us a little bit, we'll say he's sandbagging, right? That kind of thing. And it's like, I don't want to say Bender is sandbagging, but he looked like, what? I'm not going to stretch this thing out. I'm just
let me make it interesting.
Yeah. Reminds me of who was it? Was it Flat Dash from remember The Incredibles? At the end of the first Incredibles, where he's like running and he's running too fast and they yell at him, so he's got to slow down. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's so. That might be the case. Next time, I don't know if Bender would ever admit to it, but he's pretty comfortable where he's at, and Herrin is doing everything to agitate him and to push him and to not give him the secret sauce of every track and everything like that. And the guy's still coming out on top. So it's not even like, Herrin is just trying to outride him. He's also like, I see you following me, I'm not going to ride the lines I would normally ride, so you don't get him. Those kind of things. And it's harder to do in qualifying. It's obviously harder to do in a race. So Bender's race 2 has always been stronger than his race 1, because he does sometimes he has sat behind Herrin and kind of got the goods. So it'll be interesting to see. Let's talk about some of the other riders in the super sport before we move on. Kayla's didn't get on the podium this round, right? So that's kind of tough. DeMario got on the podium last round, but He was up there. He did lead some races, if memory serves correct. Is that the first race? He was leading some races.
He was, yeah.
And so got to run some laps up there and stuff like that. Kayla's 19, Demario 17. He's a young riders, and to be up front, to be behind or leading, the top riders in the country, is pretty impressive. What are your thoughts, Harry, on Demario and Kayla?
Oh yeah, it's what I said. Like coming into this weekend, I didn't think Kayla was going to be running at top form just because the injury to her fingers. I didn't think she was going to be in top form. I think, like I said, I think she was going to have a good hot lap, but I didn't think she was going to be like at full fitness just because that injury with her fingers. But she endured the best she could, and Josh Hayes was just on it too hard, and I just knew she wasn't going to be able to hang with those guys for too long. Like, I understand how possibly she probably had some medication and probably like painkillers would probably help her or what have you. But I knew like if it seemed like soon as it kind of like wore off a little bit, it seemed like she started to like decline a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But she did the best she can. The injury that she had was pretty horrific. So for her to be racing in VIR with a technical track like that, with that track holds so much oil, like from any other track I've seen, just watching it, that all the races from the Twins always to the Superbike, it just seemed like the track was just nobody could really get in a really good grip, and it just seemed super oily. So she did the best she could do. And hey, Demario, hey, he's an up and comer, but and it is good to see. And I think like it's some young guys coming. The kid from the Twins Cup, the champ. I don't know that I would think that he would stay with Aprilia the way he's riding Aprilia, and he feels so comfortable.
Hank?
He get with Voss.
Boston.
Yeah, if he gets the opportunity to stay on the Aprilia and go up to Super Sport, he is going to be a problem.
Yeah,
because he's comfortable and he is in rhythm every lap. It's just something about. I think it's the sweet science of riding or what have you. And you see it with Bender. It's just that when they're in rhythm, it's just like, hey, somebody else going to have to match my energy with this or match my skill to probably beat me. Because just like you were saying about Heron, watching him ride, he has like a lot of erratic movements, and he doesn't seem comfortable. He doesn't seem comfortable when he's riding, and I think that plays a big part of him where he's at right now. It would take a Herculean effort for him to catch Bender, and the stars will have to align, and Bender will have to have to happen to Bender drastically for him not to secure the championship. It's just like I watched that race a couple of times. Like that's what I do sometimes. Like after I see the race, after you see who win or whatever, I go back and watch the race again. And Heron just seemed off rhythm, like he got something else going on. Not don't know personally, but it just seemed like he's not as focused as he needs to be for the race.
No, yeah, it wasn't. We'll talk about Sunday race because the rain played a big part in that. And they both started from pit lane. One got second place, one got fourth place, and if they made the right tire choice, it might have been different. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But I'll let Tyson get in and talk about Kayla and Demario.
Yeah, they had it was good to see some flashes out of those young kids. Good to see them fighting out the front. Di Maria had a bunch of great opportunities. He was fighting with those guys for a couple laps. I think it was between was it lap 3 and 6 or something like that? Lap 3 and 7. Kayla had some good looks. I think she dived up Josh Hayes a couple times going into turn 1. But I just would really like to see some more consistency out of these guys. You just got sort of Binder and Heron and Hayes, these essentially we can call them vets at this point. Binder's still on the younger side, but he's done the Moto2 circuit, the Moto3 circuit. He's literally raced in MotoGP. I think he did a full season in MotoGP. He's a veteran rider at this point. And so it's just unfortunate to see just the vets at the top and then everybody else. And it would be good to see some, homegrown American talents being able to like come in here and just start fighting with those guys. I don't expect them to win every race, second every race or whatever, but like, at least give them the fight and, pull off some wins from those guys here and there. And then, do even better the following year after that. I'm just kind of thinking back to like Josh Herron, his first year in Superbike, I believe he won the championship. I think he was competing with Josh Hayes that year. And that's just kind of what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about these like young guys that I remember as I was growing up, you either MotoAmerica, AMA, MotoGP, what was it? What they call it? It was just the 250 and the 600s back in the day for MotoGP.
500 cc and the
yeah,
and 250 and 125.
But I'd like to see someone come out and just like start challenging these guys and bringing it to them. But they have some impressive races this season just to keep gaining that confidence. And next time they're going to be at Coda, take another crack at the apple and just keep going on. You just got to keep improving on those times and doing well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the time will come, and I think next year is going to be they're going to make leaps and bounds next year compared to this year because of what they've been able to experience with Josh and both Joshes and Bender. But let's talk about Sunday's race and the rain and just a tire choice and stuff like that because
also, to your point, sorry, real quick. I'm pretty sure Herron was the only person that started from the pit lane.
Okay.
Everyone else, Binder started at the back of the grid, but Herron started from the pit lane.
Gotcha. Thanks for clarifying that. I thought,
right,
no worries. No, I appreciate that because people will check us on that stuff. Need a real time fact check to make sure we speak and stuff like that because they on it. Like, I love it though. I love it. Yeah, let's talk about just the again the tire choice, right? I mean, we see it in MotoGP, we see it in all the classes, we see it in our club racing that we do. When when your race is next and it was a dry race and now it's raining, and you got 10 minutes to make a choice, and the track kind of dries out, but it's kind of wet and you're not sure, and like if it rained, the people on rain tires like are heroes. It dried out, you know what I'm saying? And so that was also one of those things where, and I don't know I'm sure somebody has a stat on, the percentage of times it rain and how people make the not bad choices, but the choices affect their races because you can only make a best guess with the information you have. So I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a bad choice. It just didn't work out the way you had planned. But that was huge though, you know what I mean? Like the guys that took the gamble, the track sounds like a slippery track when it's hot. Sounds like it's a slippery track when it's wet. I haven't ridden on it, so I can't talk about it from any extent whatsoever. But what are your thoughts when you saw that decision making? What did you see at the beginning of the race, or thought at the beginning of the race, and then to see the outcome? We'll start with Harry.
I thought it was unfortunate for that to happen because to me, these are professional teams. They should have somebody like watching that stuff.
Right. I'll say this, right, because we were there. Like race 2 of Superbike just finished, and they're at the victory lane podium ceremony, and they had to call it because of lightning.
Right.
And by the time they call it, in the amount of rain that came down, it was like somebody just throwing a bucket of water on you. I got to the media center, bro. I was soaked. So it was a lot of rain that came down in a short period of time. So with that said, I will say it wasn't like an easy thing to figure out if the rain was going to come back or not. But go ahead.
Yeah, but and also like okay, I mean that's a valid point. But I think like coming into the race, and it may be a budget thing. I think like sometimes they should have it already prepped, like those tires prepped just in case, because those guys can change the tire super quick, just like how they do it at the Isle of Man.
It was the rule. It's MotoAmerica's rule of
okay.
Can. So that's the problem. It's like if he would have changed a tire when Bender changed the tire, he would have started the back of the grid. If he would have came out on the sighting lap or the warm-up lap with the tires on, obviously he starts in his position. It's when he made that choice. He waited too long to make the decision, and so he had to start in that. So, and that's, but and again, we're talking about 2 minutes of maybe someone will correct us about what the time is, but like it was a short period. That's the downside of it. He just made a decision at a later time, and had to start there, and because of that. But go ahead.
Yeah, I guess Bender need to just win the championship so he can get some of those Mark Marquez exceptions.
yeah. Like I said, it's just really I mean, again, it happens to all of us. And at this time, it didn't work out for Herron in that regards. I mean, he finished fourth. If the race was 2 laps longer, he might have finished third. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's not like when you see guys that start either in pit lane or the back of the grid, and they finish on the podium or near the podium, it's pretty impressive.
Oh, it is. It is. Hey, especially to fight through the field like that, and it's those guys are a lot of times in super sport, they're the guys probably from like six stone to they're like in the thick of things. It's like kind of hard to navigate yourself through them, and he did it. There's like we said earlier, maybe he is sandbagging. So it was a good thing to see that the race didn't get axed, that they were still able to race. So Virginia so far, I don't know. I think VIR has been one of the best races of the year so far to me.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
To me,
it's
been one of the best races. Just to me.
Well,
just to me. Super sport wise.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I can see that.
Super sport wise.
Yeah, I can see that. Because it was a lot of mixing up. It was like It wasn't just like we'll fight the last 3 laps. They were fighting in the beginning, especially race 1. They were fighting. They were
they were
jockeying for position the whole time. And that's not normal. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the last few.
So Rex, can I ask you one question? Do you think that I know Kayla, Bender, and Herron are all on Ducati. Do you think it's a performance thing or a tune thing, or it's just a talent thing of why Bender is ahead of them? Bender is leading.
I don't know.
Wow.
I honestly, I can't. I'm not gonna. If you look back at the races, I think Herron just made a little bit more mistakes than Bender. I mean, Bender crashed out too, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? He did crash out a couple of times as well. You know what I mean? And so, but I think it's just you can't. I mean, no matter how the season ends, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Herron didn't give 100%. It just, it's sometimes, it just, like I said, I think they gave the best. Again, I'm not sitting here saying it's over, but like so far, I think he's given 100%, and it just there can only be one winner. Whatever sport you're in, you just want to know you left everything on the table. If you're not the winner, and I, from what I can tell, I think the team Herron, those guys, I think they've left everything on the table. I think the choices just didn't work out in their favor a couple of times, and there was tire issues. I think if it was in Mid Ohio or the round before, there was a lot of tire issues and stuff like that. And so it's and that's who got the bad tire, right? And so it's you know what I'm saying. So I think it's been fun to watch, and it's not over. But I do think Herron and the whole team have done 100%. It's just like I said, there can only be one winner. But it's been a hell of a show so far. What are your thoughts, Tyson?
Yeah, I think that Sunday race, it was just a tough call. I think motorsport uniquely, you can make decisions, but your decisions are win it or bin it. Every decision. almost every decision. In this case, like you're either a hero or you're a zero. Like you either make the right call or you don't. Whereas like, football, there's certainly the possibility of those choices as well. You've got the star quarterback or the third string quarterback, you know what I mean? But there's also, you could swap out a different sorts of running backs. They could be great, or they could just, they just help the team, and it wasn't, a huge difference either way. But like in motorsport, like I said, these choices are uniquely hero or zero, and it's tough, and that's just a fact about motorsport. And he made the wrong choice.
Imagine if a racing team could have 12 riders and whoever sets the fastest lap get the race that weekend.
I mean, we could. We've just all chosen that'd be ridiculously expensive, so we don't do that. But like, I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, back in the day, the 70s and 80s, Formula One, MotoGP, they would have multiple, tens of bikes or couples of riders. Like there's stories from the 90s in Formula One where they would have 4 cars. They would bin one, go out on the second one, bin that, go out on the third one, bin that, and now they've got one car for the rest of the weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was tough. I when those guys were out there riding on slicks, I was like, whoa, the balls on some of these guys, because there'd be a corner and the corner looks fine, but that main straight, there was some decent standing water on that main straight, and I was trying to watch, like every once in a while you could just see someone just full pinning it, and like the rear tire just skidding out on it. I'm like, oh, I hope no one just like loses it and just eats it hard. But especially with these bikes, they don't have any traction control or anything like that. So, yeah, it was a good race. I like that motorsport in these circumstances like have different types of races. Like the first race was just a knockout brawl. Who's going to come home with the championship? Or not the championship, the win. And then the second race was more of like an endurance race. Like Binder and Heron are trying to get to the front of the grid throughout the race to get as many points as they can, but obviously they can't just go all out and just do their best. So they have to they have to hold themselves back while also trying to push themselves forward on these very tricky conditions. So I thought it was cool. Hayes obviously put on a masterclass in that race as well. Like, man, he just took that first place and just like ran with it. And I think he finished 25 seconds ahead of Binder. 26 seconds, 26.5 ahead of Binder.
Which is pretty wild to see. I'm trying to see if I can find. I have some photos of the spray that I caught on I think it was definitely on who am I trying to say? Bender's bike. Let me see if I can find it. But go ahead and keep talking while I do that, if you guys can.
I think personally, I would have picked wets if I was out there. Like, I don't know if I would have put slicks on, man. Like,
right.
And then braking hard into turn one, like for the first half of the braking zone was wet. And then you got to the second half into the apex and on that corner exit, that was dry. Sure. But like, I just imagine just taking too much front and just like dumping the bike and just eating it hard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let me see if I can do this.
What would you pick, Harry? What would you have ridden? Like if you were out there, you were racing, what tires are you taking?
I don't know. I might have with intermediate, man. Do
they have intermediates?
No, I don't think so. I think we talked about that. They used to.
So it's either slicks or
wets
wet.
Or slicks.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
It was Kettleson or like Scott. I don't remember who they were, but they were like, I remember I saw a clip where their team was joking to them, and they're like, "How bald were my tires?" And they pointed to one of the crew members, and it's like who was obviously bald. So he was like that bald.
Let me see if I can do this.
Oh man, I can see that photo right. That's standing water right there.
Yeah, here we go.
So, yeah, that's some good spray right there.
Kayla's picking up Blake.
Was she on slicks as well?
Yeah. Let me see. I can zoom in here real quick.
It's so hard to read a track.
Okay,
like how wet it really is.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, look at that.
That section right there looks fairly dry, but like clearly it's not.
No, it's when they run over the rumble strip. Like she was on the rumble strip.
See that one? Those puddles in the rumbles. Yeah, got you.
So, and yeah, pretty crazy to see. So, and on slicks, I guess I would say this. I would have raced on slicks.
Yeah.
And because these guys, and obviously, at that level, they've raced in all conditions already. And I find that slicks have a lot of grip, even when water coming down, even when rain's coming down. It has a lot of grip. I'm not gonna say on a downpour I'm gonna be out there, but if it's 50 and there's no water settling, I'm on slicks. And again, it depends on the temperature. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna be on slicks in 45 degrees out there, right? I'm not gonna do that. But if it's 75 and it just rained and we're just waiting for it, and there's dry spots and stuff like that, I'm on slicks. And again, that's just because I've tried it, and like it's a good grip. If it's standing water, I'm on rain tires because you just need a channel just to flush that out. But in this condition, it was tough because you didn't know if it was going to rain again. That's the other part of it. You know what I mean? It'd be one thing if it was just like it's clear and dry or anything, and it is, and it is what it is. But the like I said, the people that chose and they made the right decisions, they came out on top.
Imagine if it did rain again. Kettleson's a hero.
Yeah, bro.
Rex, quick question: were you able to? Were you watching the Twins race when Matt Chapman had that issue?
No.
Oh,
and yeah. So no, it's. I was just talking about this earlier. Like, I can only be in one place at a time.
Yeah.
and MotoAmerica doesn't wait. It's just kind of like, one race series is doing the podium, the other one's already on the grid. Waiting to start and stuff like that. So it's something that next year, I mean, the only way I can resolve it is by having more people. But like that, it would be nice to be able to get all the races. So no, I was able to get the beginning of the race. I got some not podium. I got some of the corners, but I didn't get that. So, and I don't even get to watch the race really, because when you're out there, you only seeing the corner you're at. So, some places they do have like jumbotrons and stuff like that, but it's usually where the fans are. And we're fortunate to be closer to the racetrack, so I don't really get to see that. You know what I mean? So that's the only, like, working is different than just being a fan and just you can watch the whole race at your leisure. It's like and it's like you're trying to get to the victory lane. So it's like the last few laps you're not even watching. You're leaving wherever you're at to boogie down, and there's a time delay on what you see. So it's like you really got to be even move. You can't be watching the race because by the time the race is over, the folks are already in victory lane on TV. I guess I should say on the live. So yeah. So it's not. So I do have to rewatch the race, and so my routine kind of is get the grid. I get the first few laps, go into the media center, watch the middle of the race. And then media center, and go do victory lane, and then even victory lane is like quick, and then like if it's Superbike or Supersport, trying to get to post interview, right, and stuff like that. So it's different. It's I'm not complaining, but it's not the same. So yeah, so I missed the crash, and it's like both Suzuki's went down. I mean, I know that's what you were saying, but like that crazy. I did see the replay of him, smashing his face on the visor, and not on the visor, on the windshield and breaking it. But I'm glad his visor did not break.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's most important, because that would have even been worse for the kid. So no,
and the gift of youth for him to just get up like that too.
Man, listen, I ran into the back of a truck full speed and got back up.
That adrenaline.
Played football in the street, caught a ball and turned around, and the truck was right there. The Didn't even see it.
Oh man.
Point, I mean, I'm still short, but at that point, I was short enough that I wasn't taller than the bed. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Nah, you can, when you're younger, you land easy or softer, and you can get back up. No, it's pretty crazy to see some of the gnarly crashes. That these riders get kind of folded up in a pretzel, and
Sure.
and they get up and just like, oh, me now, red flag.
You got your hand up. Yeah, let's red flag this one.
It's a hangnail. Yes. Let me give it a thumbs up.
Let's just bring the wheelchair out here just for safekeeping. Yeah.
Hey, listen, man. That's the before we talk about the sim racing and stuff like that. That's the gimmick at the airport, right? Because anyone can order a wheelchair at the airport. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can't walk or have struggle walking. You just have to be lazy enough to just order.
Right.
I don't know if you pay if it's free, but
Yeah.
it's there's a lot of people in them wheelchairs that can in the airport getting pushed around that can walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
So speaking of, this is not a gimmick. I was fortunate to have Davin from Apex on a little bit ago earlier this year, and he does sim racing. He does go-kart racing, sim racing. I believe he did some SCCA stuff as well. I want to say he had a Miata, but I could be wrong on the car he had. But we were talking about sim and just the different levels of it and getting there. I play Ride 6. I play the MotoGP game. It keeps me entertained. Do you guys play video games like that? What are your thoughts on like the sim racing world? And we'll go from there. Start with you, Hario.
I think I mentioned to you I have one of my good friends here that stays in Austin. He has an R6, and he actually has a simulator where he taken his has took his R6 and put it on the simulator where he's actually sim racing with the actual motorcycle. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Huh?
I said, yeah, I've seen like, the exhibitions that MotoGP have and stuff like that. And some of these other racing clubs and track day organization that they have them out and people are on the bike and stuff like that. Now he's using his actual R6 for
actual R6. I actually send it to you after the pod over. I send it to you so you can get a clear indication of what I'm talking about. But it is next level. And I think like if I had something like that, just because I could be a tad bit delusional, I'll probably be trying to be in Superbike. I'm telling you, that'll be. I would probably be like, hey, I'm trying to look for sponsors, right? Like with something like that, you invest the money into it. Normal street rider and just normal track days just wouldn't be enough for me. I need to push it to the limit and see how far I could take it. But I think it helps on all levels of motorcycle riding. For the person that just really just getting their license, to the person that has ambition to actually race. I think it's a valuable asset to them. And I think like if anybody has the has the opportunity to that has the money that can afford something like that, I think they should invest into it. I definitely would. Just me, just being who I am, or just somebody just a good rider, but a better street rider. I would love to be a better track rider and to have something like that in my possession. So I think it's a great tool for anybody, honestly, and I would love to have one. And to your point about the whole sim racing thing, I love to watch those guys on live just going at it. I think I told you this before that like motorcycle racing is like my number one sport. And I watch a lot of guys play NBA 2K and Madden, but I'm really starting to get into watching people that race like do the MotoGP racing and some of the Isle of Man tracks also. And I think it's cool. I'm really go and I'm really go. I think that's gonna be my Christmas gift to myself. I want to get into that.
As it should, man. How about yourself, Tyson? Man, what do you think of it? And we'll ask. Can it? How much do you think it can improve? someone's riding skill, as you heard Harry talk about, like how people can learn from this and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on sim racing and specifically sim racing motorcycles?
I love video games and I love sim racing video games. I don't generally do a lot of motorcycle sim racing. What's up?
It's a 2 thumbs up to another Dave Chappelle reference.
Oh, I gotta rewatch Dave Chappelle.
He was actually thumbs down, but
Oh my God. Do I use this one all the time? Like,
yeah, let me. Joe Rogan,
can I eat that crack? But I would like to like bike sims more. My problem is that like it's so cheap for me to buy a steering wheel and pedals, and I basically have a car. Like I don't need to buy the full, sim rig for $30,000 with the the actuator, the hydraulic actuators on it, so you can hit every bump and stuff like that. Like I can get 90% close to an actual car, just sitting in my chair here on my computer, and I can't do that with the bike sims. Like I tried on a control. I need to get a better controller, so that's one of the things. Like once I do finally get a better controller, I'm gonna get like Ride or MotoGP and try to take another crack at it. But I tried it on my mouse and keyboard, and I was like, this is miserable. I returned the game. I was like, no, I'll buy it again once I have a controller. But yeah, I wish there was more accessible options for like a steering wheel, maybe like similar sort of thing with a steering wheel, but it's like, just a bike handlebars. Like that would be a little bit closer to like how you actually ride. But I think it's a lot of help to people. People have definitely in the car aspect of it, people have gone from sim racing to professional drivers.
Yeah.
So like clearly there is a connection between skills in game and reality. If we could get closer to like that same relationship, like I was saying with like, the steering wheel with cars and the sim, I feel like that would be way more helpful than just like a controller. But you learn lines, you learn how to brake, you learn proper braking technique. You can put all of that stuff, that basic racing technique that you're going to have to learn anyway if you're in a car or a bike, you're going to learn that on a sim. And if you can get that stuff down first and then go to a racetrack, you are freaking 6 steps ahead of someone who just out of nowhere is like, I want to start racing, and goes to a track to learn. Like you have the basic steps that you have already checked every one of those off. You've done your training, and now you're just working on refining your craft.
Right. So yeah. So I will say, and I'm gonna bring Harry back in here. I will say, like I've been playing a MotoGP game now, I guess since 2021. So I pretty much have all of them. And like I was saying earlier, I at first, I had no idea what I was doing and stuff like that. But then I started playing the ride game a little bit more. All the rides when they first came out too. So Ride 6 is the latest one I play, and I will say this: like, it does help you with your eyes. You know what I mean? For me, you can learning the track. It helps learning the track. Helps with your eyes. If you're the type of person that used to looking right in front of you, and you need to look further down the track. It definitely does help with that. It helps with your braking into corners, your exits, your apex. You know what I'm saying? How close you are to the apex, or you running too wide. You know what I'm saying? All these things that you can work out in your head, even though you're not on a bike, and you know them now. You know what I'm saying? They're not muscle memory because you've been practicing on this. So now you just got to go out there and do it on a real bike. But I think it is helpful. I agree with you. I don't know how much I like Harry was saying, his buddy who is using his R6 as a sim. That's pretty impressive. I think something like that will give you a much more precise, because now you're leaning the bike, and where versus you're just doing the controllers. So now I think you get more body position. I mean, you still got to worry about fatigue and stuff that you're not going to get from the sim that you're going to get in real life. But at least you can also attribute body position to it, where it's not just your eyes anymore. It's now your eyes and body. So I think there's something to be said for that. And then learning like the racetracks. You know what I mean? I've learned in MotoGP. I learned a lot of tracks over the MotoGP tracks around the world. And I can, to the point where when I watch MotoGP game, they can just bring up a corner, and I know that Like I can tell you what the layout is. You know what I mean?
That's pretty cool.
And then in ride 6, the tracks are there. A lot of the ones I like, I know. The ones I don't like, you know, I don't know as much because I don't play as much. But I think
what tracks they have on ride 6.
I'll go through. Well, let's see. In the U.S., they got Laguna, they got Road Atlanta, they got Road America, they got Daytona. I think they got like Nevada and some of those other ones. In Europe, they got like Dunnington. In the UK, they got Dunnington Park, Cadwell. Some of the ones I can't think of off my name.
Gotcha.
Off the top of my head, they got Le Mans. All they got
So all the big ones, pretty much.
Pretty much more of the big ones, but not certain ones. Like there's no Silverstone on ride 6, but it is in MotoGP. There's Mugello, but I don't think there's any. I don't think Mazzano's in ride 6. You know, so there's some. They got Argentina in ride 6, which is sweet. It's called something. I forget what the name of it is, but it's one of my favorite tracks. You know, and stuff. So yeah, so it is pretty cool to be able to play and then to play online. So it's one thing to play, you know, on your own, but then to go out and play online with other folks. And again, these are other, you know, as I'm finding out, other riders that on their spare time or whatever time they have, they're picking up the sticks and jumping on. And you know, there's some fast folks. You know, I consider myself all right. You know, like, but I'm looking at times. I'm like.
I remember when Jonathan sorry about that, Rick. But I remember when Jonathan Rhea was still in Superbike, and they put on one of the tracks that they were getting ready to race on, and he was on it. Like I was like, I don't know, like what was the lap record for it, but I'm pretty sure that he just knew the track.
Oh yeah,
and he was just had the controller just going through it. I was just like, man.
I would say this. I've, you know, racing at Daytona, the amount of times I raced that, playing the video Daytona. I know this track. I know the bumps. I know who they are. It's like, it's one thing to learn the like. I mean, I've played, you know, raced at Coda in MotoGP, and you can feel the bumps, you know, on the straightaway and stuff like that, or the back straight, I should say. If you hit them and stuff like that, but I don't know it. I don't know because I haven't been on Coda, or where like I know how to ride Daytona, and so I can jump whichever bike, whatever CC bike I jump on in the race. It's just like you know, not to say it's not my favorite track, but it's a track I know, so it's like I can finish up front as long as I don't crash.
Right.
Generally,
we should do a podcast season. Like anybody on the podcast that wants to play, you get the game. Let's all play together.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
I'd be in.
I'm definitely going to get it, man.
So you know, this is one of the things we may be doing in the off season, and we can do it through Discord. The thing is, you will need some more equipment so that way you can, you know, stream your camera to your video game to the screen. Because if not, like we can probably do it in Discord is what I'm thinking, and everybody just join Discord. And you know, we would have to take turn sharing our screens so we can see while we're playing and figure that out. I think that would be the hardest part, but I'm pretty sure there's
what hardware do we need?
It's a encoder is the word I'm looking at. It's right here. Can you see this thing here?
Okay.
You know, it's USB, it's HDMI in, HDMI out, HDMI to the HDMI.
Does the screen cap not work?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Thank you. Yeah.
But like, I mean, I have a computer, so like, this just normal screen cap via like NVIDIA or Discord not work? Or any other software?
Well, I think because you need to use multiple cameras. That's the problem. So it's like you're going to be using because of StreamYard. You know, you're going to be you're going to have a camera on you, and then you also want to share your screen. It's like I can you guys? I think you might be able to share your screen now. We're gonna have to test it because
for sure.
Work. But that's something we're probably gonna do in the off season, and we'll probably make it private, and so we'll create a private race, and you know, and we'll send invite out to some of our, you know, fans and folks, and then we'll stream it live. And so we can do a marathon and stuff like that. Whatever the case maybe, I can video game for hours.
I'll have to start practicing.
Yeah, I would love to do that because I could on my YouTube page I could stream it there. You know what I mean? Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. So that's why I have it to set up, and I do stream my Ride 6 game on Twitch. I don't really promote it when I go live and stuff like that, but I am streaming live, and that's why I have that, so that way I can also have the camera on and do some of that and stuff like that. But it's pretty cool, and it's a cool way to meet people and talk about motorcycle racing, and like anything else, I'm sure like any other online game that there's certain people kind of connect together, and so if I jump on, someone sees I'm on, they'll invite me to a race and we race together. Because I'll say this, right? Like if like any game, if people can't play, it sucks. Because they're crashing into you like what happened in race 3. Bro.
Monza lap 1 on any race online.
Oh yeah, and sometimes you just kind of just let them go. You just let them go.
Yeah.
They're just gonna
you just wait it out. Just get through lap 1 that's safe, and then the rest of the race is fine.
Turn one, not even lap.
Turn 1, yes.
Turn 1, bro. And
turn
so
1, yes.
You kind of wait it out, but if you get if you connect with a group that can ride, bro, it's perfect. Because if somebody comes up on the inside, you're gonna give them space. You're not gonna take them out. You give them space. You know what I'm saying? The lines, and this is kind of like your line. If you're gonna pass somebody, you change your line, and you can practice passing people. And it's just like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing in real life. But I need to pass somebody. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, when people can ride, you know what I'm saying? So like we've had Cheater on the show before, and he's on ride a lot, and he's a fast guy on ride. I'm still trying to catch him. He's a few seconds in front of me and some other guys. But like if I'm riding with those guys, we're not taking each other out. And if we do, we know it's by accident. It's just it's racing incident. It's not like we don't know how to brake on, and we don't have braking marks and braking markers and stuff like that. So that's the only downside. If it's a bunch of people, and there's some people out there that just they just want to crash people out too.
Yeah, I hate that, bro.
And so that's why I think like doing something private and having a good group of people that can ride, jump on, you do 5 lappers or 10 lappers. I mean, we could do qualifying. We could do like a 20 lap race. So that way it's like just one long race. You know what I mean? There's, there's a lot of 3 lap races, and you really don't get tire wear like you would if you're doing like longer laps. So
sure.
it's like how do you ride when your tires are 60%? You know what I'm saying? And you do see the difference in the game, like when you have tire fade or you heat up your front tire from just braking hard and stuff like that, or even just changing the suspension. You know what I mean? Changes. It's like you do get to see the difference. How much of it is like a natural feel, I don't know. But you do see the difference, how the bike moves if you had more compression up front or less and stuff like that. You do see how the bike turns. It's crazy. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, we'll put it together. Off season is something we'll do, and once MotoGP and World Superbike and MotoAmerica is off, we got to fill the time on the show. We'll start gaming.
For sure.
I'll start practicing so I can I'll be confident. Harry and I start playing and we're just like crashed out by turn 1.
I know, right? We're in the pit. We're in the paddock already.
Hey, listen, if it's a 20 lap race, you never know.
Yeah.
I'm the way I'm at right now, I'm like not all the riders, but you see the riders that crash out with 2 laps to go. That's where I'm at. The last lap.
Whenever I play car sims, that's me every time. I'm like, I'm almost there. I'm doing so good. I'm doing so good. Last corner. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. And that's logical, right? Because it really is. You're not thinking about racing anymore. You're just thinking about finishing and not messing up. And that split second is enough for you to make a mistake. And I see it. And like I said, that's why it's kind of like you do see it. Like it's like you literally have to be locked in, regardless. and even then you still can make a mistake. So it's like, even if I'm just telling myself, don't run wide, don't run wide,
Ran wide.
Yep. And the other thing is just like, even just learning the track, because some tracks you can run over the rumble strips, and other tracks you can't. So it's like these little things, like if you're trying to be at the top, in the front, you got to figure out, because some tracks you can cut the corner on and be safe. Other ones, you're like, you just hit a brick wall. So, all right. So that's that. Sim racing folks out there, tell us what you think when you hear these clips in the next week and stuff like that. Are you into sim racing? And if so, what's your pleasure? MotoGP or Ride 6? Or maybe even Ride 5. Some people might still play Ride 5 because, and I say this with Ride 6. It's cool because you can get the new bikes and play with them and stuff like that. Like I said, versus just MotoGP bikes. So you can race with a V4, or you can race with the BMW, and you can even, depending on where you're at, you can even get some like the super bikes, and you'll see the difference between like a super bike build versus you building out the showroom bike. So it's cool. I like it. But let's move on, and we'll talk about meetups. Coming from the racing world, I didn't do a lot of meetups. I have some guys that we rode with, Jesse and Garage, for one of those guys that I would ride with on Sundays every once in a while and stuff like that. But I've been going to meetups down here just to connect with more riders and stuff like that. What are your thoughts? I know, Harry, you do go to meetups, and I think you're part of even organizing some and stuff like that. Let's hear your thoughts on meetups. You're a huge fan of them. Should more people do them? And if so, like, what's the best way, if you're a new rider, to figure out if this meetup organization is for you?
It just depends on. I love going to them. I love the energy. I love the camaraderie. When it's just, sometimes it can get a little outrageous. Just depending on, like, testosterone, and just men being men. Sometimes it can get kind of ridiculous. But all in all, I really haven't been to a meet like that in a long time. But I enjoy them. I enjoy the bike scene. I enjoy meeting different people. And seeing their different upgrades with their motorcycles. And sometimes the only reason it could get kind of crazy when it burn out some people doing wheelies. That's the only downfall to it. But other than that, it's pretty cool. Like, sometimes, they get the jockeying about who has the fastest bike, and sometimes it's time to show and prove. And a lot of those guys leave their egos in first gear sometimes.
I like that. Don't leave your ego in first gear.
Don't leave your ego. I'm telling you, a lot of guys leave their ego right in first gear. Like, what happened? I don't know what happened. That didn't happen. You just lost. Just own up to it. But there's a lot of guys spend a lot of money, upgrading their bikes, especially like full systems, carbon wheels, carbon fairings. It's a guy here. He has a track rated performance here in Texas. He has a full carbon S1K.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's fast. It's fast. It's fast.
All right. What are your thoughts, Tyson, man, on meetups and stuff like that? Do you go to them? Are you a fan of them? He's like, nah.
I live out in the woods, so there's really not too many of these around my area. And if they do, they happen like once a year, maybe twice.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple for sure, and they're really just not my vibe. Like, a lot of times it's just showing up to a parking lot and just hanging out for a little bit, and you go your separate ways, or showing up to a parking lot, hanging out for a little bit, and then 60 bikes going to a location. And I'm like, that's just not how I like to ride. I've only done that once, where like we went off somewhere and it was like a bunch of bikes and they were like shutting down traffic, and I just was like, yeah, this is just not my bag, man. Like, I just prefer to like meet up with some friends, maybe 3, 4 probably would be the most I would probably ride with. and just hit some twisties. Like that's what I like to do. We got a lot of them around here. There's relatively low density of police officers where I live, so that's very nice. Don't have to deal with them too much, but yeah, it's not a big thing up here, so it's just tough to get to. Sometimes the scenes can be a little rowdy. Like one of them I went to, people they went on the main road and just started doing like full stand-up wheelies at like 90 miles an hour past us, and I'm like, bro, we're gonna get arrested. Like the cops are gonna show up. Like bro, like, okay, like you guys live in Houston and Florida, like there's thousands of bikers. Like, okay, where's the 50 sport bikes that are in your local county? We know all of you guys. Like,
it's like
none of us are getting away with this.
They already know where to go, huh? Like, as soon as you
do. Yeah. They don't even have to show up because they're just gonna show up at your house. Yeah. Like that's the kind of like policing we have around these parts. So
yeah,
it's like it's just tough, and like I said, I just prefer, like I got into bikes to ride the bikes, like I like looking at bikes, but there's only so many V4S's I can see where I go like, yeah, it's a V4S. It looks cool, man. Like, looks great. Yeah, and I move on, Like you guys also, you're in like the cities and stuff like that, so you got some guys that actually like customize their bikes, like
for sure.
And sometimes it's cool, they do cool graphics or something, or they change all of the metal parts to anodized gold or whatever. Like that's cool to see, but like a lot of times it's just like, okay, there's literally 5 V4S's right here in a line, and they're all just bone stock V4S's or with an exhaust. It's like, looks cool, man.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Yeah.
And not everyone knows how to hook up a bike or a car. We see them all the time.
There's some pretty untasteful things that people do with them, and it's like, why? Like, I mean, it's your money. Do whatever you want, man. Yeah. Like, I don't care. It's your money. Do whatever the fuck you want. I would never put that on my bike ever. Yeah.
Bike or car or myself.
Mm-hmm. I will say this: it's one good thing about those meetups, man. When you meet up with a group of individuals that can actually ride, and y'all go on some twisties together. And you kind of like not necessarily overtake like you racing, but some people go show you different lines they take, and you can learn from that. Right. And I always take experiences like that as a learning. I always take rides like that as a learning experience, and especially learning from, because regardless of I think I'm a great rider, yes. But I'm not that arrogant or egotistical that I can't learn from somebody else. Right. And that's the group of guys I've been riding with lately, man. We got some good riders around here. So I enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part. Not the hardest part. And that's the part is like finding a good group of people to ride with that know how to ride. If I think that, and that's what I'm finding out. And again, and I think I kind of messed up, but I didn't really clarify. There's meetups. We just meet up and you guys go hang out somewhere and whatever, and then go your separate ways. And then there's meeting up to go for a ride, and we go riding. And I prefer to meet up and go riding somewhere, but that kind of riding, I want to do with experienced people, and so that way I don't have to worry about you. Yeah. And it's because you're already worrying about everything else. Now you got to worry about the rider, and for me, I'm really just worrying about the rider behind me, because I'm paying attention to what's going on in front of me. So I'm gonna see if you're doing something stupid. But behind me, my vision is only the size of my mirrors. You know what I'm saying? And so I find that riding with inexperienced people, riding with experienced people on a medium ride and a spirited ride, we'll say spirited, and we don't overtake. We overtake, but we don't speed.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's a good one. Spirited ride. I use that one.
Yeah. For folks that go for spirited ride, it's like you want to have a good skill set. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's different than we just out here just enjoying the day, and no one is in a rush. And the meetups all the meetups I've gone to, everybody say ride your own ride. It's one thing when you sit in the parking lot telling people to ride your own ride. It's another thing when they turn that thing on and gals pull off in front of them.
That ego, that ego kicks in.
Yeah, but somebody got to do something.
Yeah, I agree with you though. Like you should, if you're gonna do like some spirited to like more aggressive riding, we'll say. on the road. Like you need to have people that are your skill level,
Mm.
like relatively your skill level. They can be better than you, a little bit worse, but like you got to trust them, and you got to know they're not going to do something stupid behind you, like just absolutely blow the braking zone, take you out, and now both of you are looking at the front tire of the car in the next lane. You know,
because it's very important for the people in the front to make decisions for the people in the back.
For
Because
sure.
you see what's going on, and if you're not making a good decision up front for me back here, you're not looking out for me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I mean, I usually ride like, it's tough for me to get like, say 3 people together to go riding. So I usually stick to like riding with my dad, who is an ex-racer, and then riding with my buddy. He's a little bit older these days, but my buddy Mike from the track as well, and he rides 600s at the track, and I ride a 650. So sometimes I would race with him because like I only had one race that day, so I'd like, all right, I'll take a middleweight race just so that I can get some more time on the track, and it'd be fun because like I was maybe a little bit quicker through the corners, but he had a little bit more power, so you'd blast off and like, you motherfucker, like I'm gonna be right behind you going into this corner or whatever. But so we've raced together, and we have some fun, spirited rides, and we both know that we're very capable riders. Like if you can start sniffing like amateur or be an amateur rider, you are one of the best riders on the street.
Yep.
You are 99.9% the best rider on the street. There might be 1 or 2 other people that day that might be better riders than you. And so like when we ride, like a lot of it is like we know what to do. Like I might pass a car, like usually I'm going to pass them with a little bit of space for both of us, but at the same time, like you're a big boy, like like look out, don't just blindly go blasting around a corner, kind of deal. And he knows like if he passes a car and I don't, like he knows the next opportunity I'm going to jump out and I'll catch up with him. Like he's not fucking off down the road, but like he's definitely on his pace, and I'll catch up with him at some point. But definitely finding riders that are generally your skill level and you can trust, easy. And like once you get over 3 people in a group, like I feel like that's when you start getting into some like danger zone areas of like just there's too many people trying to fight for space on the tarmac,
Yeah. And again, and you're playing with cars and other trucks and everything else.
Pedestrians, a bike, a car, a dog on the side of the road, kid with a ball. You got to be careful.
Oh yeah. I've
one thing I do with like some people that I haven't ridden before with, I always tell them to ride in front of me because I can calculate their foolishness and be able to counter after what they do versus whatever they're doing behind me. I can't stop that. I can't stop what they're doing behind me. I always tell, hey, go ahead and ride in front of me. Trust me, I've already taken calculation what your mistake is going to be, so I can do whatever I need to do. That's one thing I always tell anybody that rides with me. Hey, no, you go ahead and get in front because I know what I'm going to do.
And it's easy to see that too from behind. Like,
absolutely.
You see them make a mistake, and you can see them like literally freak out to do a little freak out, not quite sure what to do. Meanwhile, you're just starting to break into a corner and just lightly trail braking because you're on the street. And like, sure, you may be going relatively fast, but you have more margin to brake even harder and then just let out the brake. And now you're going super slow around this corner. Meanwhile, they may have made a mistake, and done whatever they did. But like you have plenty to play with and watch them at the same time. Yeah.
And I'll say this, if you're going on a spirited or aggressive ride and you don't have riding gear on, you're like I
don't do that.
I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say you're stupid because a lot of people just think it's normal, but it's very foolish. If you're just going for a regular ride, we chilling, ain't nobody doing nothing but we're doing. It's one thing. If you're out here, you're gonna get into that a little bit, and then have gear on.
For sure.
You know, like sneakers and jeans and a t-shirt, and you're out here trying to get it.
Bro, there's so many examples. Just go to YouTube motorcycle crashes. Like there's 800 volumes of different clips of motorcycle crashes, and just watch people eat shit, and you'll be like, yeah, I don't want that to happen to me. That looks not fucking fun.
Right. I would prefer for you to have really good gear, but I prefer for you to have cheap gear than no gear. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because that's gonna last until it tears apart. It'll at least give you more protection than your jeans or your t-shirt. You know what I mean?
So that's nothing. Jeans are nothing.
Nothing. It's gonna come off real quick. It's gonna come off before you hit the ground. It's gonna see you falling, and you're gonna
it's like your basketball, not your basketball shoes, like your Nikes, too, that they wear. Like, bro, that the second your foot touches the ground, that thing is 60 feet in the air behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. How fun is it, Tyson, to be on the SV and racing in the middleweight class and not being the last guy on the track?
It's a real ego boost. It is pretty slick. And then you have to remind yourself you're only a novice. But beside the point, like, I definitely have had some. I think I have a middleweight podium on my SV.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Not a lot of them, but I do think I have one, or maybe fourth place. But yeah, it is a lot of fun, especially when like I feel like it's a decent confidence boost too when like you come out of, say, like turn 12 at Loudon, you're on the straight and they just gone. You're like, of course this is over now. Like, now I'm all by myself, and then you hit the brakes, and then you come to the apex and you're like, oh, I have to slow even more.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, these guys cannot take this corner, and then you get to some twisty sections. You're like, bye.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and it's a good way to kind of get to go faster because it's going to push you to run that bike faster. And that bike got 80 horsepower, and these guys got, depending on what they got underneath them, 110.
80 horsepower. I'd be lucky with 65. I got an 03, dude.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Again, see how fast you are. All right, man. That's what's up, guys. Appreciate it. We got Moto GP next week in Aragon. Looking forward to talking about that. We'll chop it up next week more as it gets closer. We'll see who are the last few riders to get picked up or not get picked up. I see stuff for saying Maverick is out. I see stuff saying Maverick is in. I mean, we'll find out next round at Aragon if he's in or out. And so it's very exciting. My name is Rex45. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. I want to thank Harry O with Two Wheels One Chain. I want to thank Tyson from up north. You know where that is. Peace.